Good to go.
He's good?
I can see minute things.
All right. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Monday, May 8th meeting of the Pine Bluffs Town Council. Would everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See if we can get this off tomorrow.
The first item is the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none.
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Did I not say that?
No, you didn't. Nope. We're waiting for you.
We thought it was going to be fast. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? I was like, you guys are all looking at me.
It's all right.
The next item up is our 2023 Mayoral Council Scholarship winners. If you guys would like to come up. I have a few things for you. Our first winner is Abby Gray. We have a Bluffs coin as well. And the other winner is
Photo mommy.
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
And the most important part is congratulations. Thank you.
Yay!
Yeah, you might want to, that'd be easier than cropping me out of the photo. I literally was like, what are you guys all looking at me for?
We didn't say to tell us what to do next.
And you guys can feel free to, you're not going to offend us but whatever you'd like to do. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your
Great
work.
job.
The next item on our agenda is the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussions? So I have some discussion about the consent agenda. Item number 4-C. I don't think we got an updated copy, but I think the original copy had a 4.5-foot setback or something pretty close to that. I would like to just make it clear that they are adjusting the setback by requirement.
Yes.
So it's not on here though.
Correct.
Okay.
I do have it available if you would like to.
Well, as long as that item's taken
Yeah.
care of. Any other discussion?
That was it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. On to new business. Item number 1 is ordinance 2024-01, first reading, the budget, which reads annual appropriation ordinance for the town of Pine Bluffs, Wyoming for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024.
I move to approve ordinance 2024-01 on the first reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance 2024-01 on the first reading. Any discussion?
Kim, is there anything on here that's drastically new from previous years that we need? more
So
attention to?
there's nothing new, so to speak. However, I would just like to point out that there have been several cost increases that are reflected in the budget. We anticipate other cost increases. We're still finalizing a little bit of research on that. For example, our Black Hills energy bills have increased by 47.3%. An example, our community center in February was 1,708, whereas prior to the cost increase, it would have been $900.51 for the same time frame, for similar amount of usage. Our command center fees are increasing by 33.2%. Command center is the program through Landis and Gear that manages and monitors all of our electric and water meters. Landfill fees are increasing by 14.3%. Due to that increase, I will be proposing an increase to the landfill fee that we charge our customers of that same amount, the same pass-through of 14.3%. Water treatment for our chlorine is increased by 12.4%. Pool chemicals by 10.3%. Health insurance, 7%. We have an addition of cybersecurity to our IT services that is a requirement in order for us to stay viable with our liability insurance. And we do anticipate increases in liability and comprehensive insurance costs. So again, there are other increases out there. These are some of the top ones that I was able to put a very, distinct increase on, or a percentage on. We are going to be proposing some rate increases for recreation activities. I have a copy for you all to review. Sorry I don't have that electronically, but if you could take some time to review Sonia's recommendations, and we can discuss it at a future meeting. But also, I would like to recommend that we have a budget workshop so that we can get in the weeds on some of these items for anybody that would like to attend the budget workshop. I'll also be having budget training sessions for our newly elected officials, and those will be dependent on each person's schedule so that I can go through that one-on-one with them.
I do have another question. I feel like we talk about this often, but I just wanted to double check on where we are on that, if anywhere. On the Black Hills franchise fee, did we ever get anywhere on restructuring that?
We have not. It's definitely something that we need to take into consideration, especially with the cost increases.
Yeah, that was, when you were mentioning the cost increases and the percentage increases, it just kind of reminded me that I think we've mentioned it before, and was hoping that maybe that alleviates some of the stress in the increases of services and goods right now.
Absolutely. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that that Black Hills does pass their franchise fee through to their customer. So that's something else to.
Oh, I guess that probably makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if it's company-wide or specific to the area. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I guess that's a question for sure. Any other questions for Kim or thoughts?
Do you just wanna plan a budget workshop after the meeting, or do you wanna?
We can schedule that whenever it works for you all, either as individuals or as a group. If you would like, we can do that. I'm open to just about anything.
Okay.
Other
Alex,
than like Sunday morning at 7 a.m., that would be a no, yeah.
a budget workshop with no action taken. No official action still has to be noticed if there's over.
If there's a quorum.
Sure. Okay. Anything else? Hearing nothing, it's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance 2024-01 on the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2 under new business is the Maple Street Rehabilitation Project Award Recommendation. Kim?
We had one firm bid on the project. That firm was STC. STC has done a lot of road work for us in the past, and they have historically been the lowest bidder. This time they were the only bidder. It's a fairly major project. They did come in below the engineer's estimate by about $5,000. And that is for the base bid plus all of the alternates. The base bid, they were $35,672 below the engineer's estimate. When you added in the alternates are just all of those different valley pans, and that's a lot of concrete work. And as you all know, the price of concrete is very high right now. However, we do have allocated for road work, not to include the road to the north of where the railroad crossing will be, $1,185,000. The cost of this contract plus the engineering will be $1,008,967, leaving us with $176,033 for additional road work that we could have done throughout the community. We have additional valley pans that need some attention. Here's some photographs of valley pans throughout the community that are in very poor condition. A lot of them are, well, all of the ones that are on Beach are the ones that are listed as alternates on this project. However, there are some other valley pans that are pretty rough. You know, at about $20,000 to $22,000 per valley pan. That won't get us quite as much bang for our buck as if we went and put some urban wear course on some of the roads that need some resurfacing. We also have a significant amount of, I don't know what you would say, but deterioration to the edges of the road going up Cemetery Hill. We need to put the guardrail in place, and we need to look at putting some striping, some signage, and possibly putting in a drainage, a place where the water can drain through a concrete valley rather than, or gutter, I should say, rather than wearing out the edge of the asphalt and the dirt, causing the road to get narrower and narrower. So those are different areas where we can talk about, you know, where we could best use that $176,000 on our roads.
So are you saying the two different road projects totaled together minus this and the portion we're gonna do leave?
No, so
Weren't
we
those
have two
different?
separate road projects. Yeah, so our road, north of the railroad crossing, we have 1.5 million set aside for that project. And that also includes closing where the old crossing would be. And regular road projects, we have 1,185,000.
That makes sense.
We're doing Maple Street from Second all the way up to Ninth,
Yes.
Yes,
and does that include curb and gutter or anything like that, or just blacktopping?
it includes curb gutter and some sidewalk in certain areas where we don't meet ADA requirements. It also includes a valley pan down the center of the road, since the road is inverted from 8th Street down to, is it 3rd or 4th? 4th Street. Yep.
One of my concerns too, if we're talking about where to use our other road money is, I guess it's not a concern as much as I've had a lot of citizens come and we know that it's not free to fix our alleys. And while it's not a road, we're starting to get some, especially up, particularly like Leroy Lipska's in there might be a drainage problem. And it's kind of unclear to me, you know, how that was all worked out through there with whether they're officially roads or whether they're just an alley but even if it's just an alley, we need to maybe look into some of those and hopefully they're fairly cheap fixes, but, so I'm in favor of getting the furthest we can with the money we have left, but I'm not really sure what that means.
Absolutely, and as many of you are aware, we do have a stockpile of some crushed concrete, and after this project, we will have a bunch of crushed, ground-up road base that we will be able to also use out in our alleys to help firm them up a little bit.
Great.
It'd be awesome to put some money into East 10th Street that's never had nothing done to it. Come drive that street, somebody,
How far up?
all the way
You mean
All the way-
from the base of 10th Street?
from where it's bad all the way.
Well, as you know, we still need to work with all the residents to try and gain ownership of that street, because the property lines were never delineated for any town easement, so.
We have a town easement for utilities going up,
Well, for utilities only, yes.
and we were messed up enough years and years ago that we let somebody put the street where it's not supposed to be.
Right.
So,
So now it needs to get fixed,
so,
both the ownership and the street.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
But
my
I've been
issue
working
is,
on it for 20 years, getting something done, and can't get nothing done. So I'm gonna start really yelling now, because I'm not on the board so you're
That's
gonna hear
fine.
me a lot.
You can come in all you want,
Well,
and maybe
I-
you could
I've
visit
asked
with all
3
of
weeks
your
ago to-
neighbors.
I asked 3 weeks ago if we could please get it graded. It still hasn't been done. So, I'm not very
well,
happy about the whole deal.
we'll make a priority on the grading, but I still contend that when I've brought this subject up to your neighbors up there, to at least 2 different of your neighbors, they all are kinda like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, they go out and drive through cow pastures every day. But
Yeah. Well, and they don't, well,
anyway, my point is,
up until the time
I think you
quit
need
taking
to,
care of it myself.
I think we need to have an organizational meeting with the people up there and see what we're going to do. Cause we can't keep revisiting this issue. Like, let's make a plan and figure it out.
And that'd be great. Been trying for 20 years.
To have an organizational meeting?
Yes, we had one.
And,
It went nowhere.
okay, well, try to work through that.
I move to approve the recommended bid from STC for the Maple Street Rehabilitation Project,
What about the alternates?
and including the alternates.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the Maple Street Rehabilitation Project award to STC Construction Company. Any other discussion?
When are they gonna start it?
June 1st, soon as school gets out. Now that the project has been approved, with the alternates, we will start, reaching out to the residents and going through the schedule with the folks that may be impacted, especially those that don't necessarily have alley access to their home.
Did they say how long it's gonna take them to do it?
12 weeks.
How long?
12 weeks.
12 weeks.
12 weeks.
So the goal is to open right before school starts. We've met with the superintendent, and we know that there's some other projects going on at the high school for a drainage issue. So we'll work with that contractor. That contractor happens to be Pine Bluffs Gravel, so it'll be easy to work with those folks to make sure that we're not anywhere near the entrance to the high school. And we will have to work with the school as well for any other summer sessions that might start.
Do we need to figure out what we're doing with the excess money now, or is that? for
No, I would recommend waiting until closer toward
The end.
the end of the project to be sure there aren't any cost overruns. One area where we do have a little bit of concern is there are a few blocks that have a 5-foot wide length of concrete that runs down for several blocks. It apparently was put in place, I don't know, years ago. They must have dug up a water or a sewer line or something like that, and they put concrete in, and then there's some asphalt on top of that. We took some samples. We believe the concrete is fine, but until we actually mill down that section of road, we won't know the true condition of the concrete. So there might be a little bit of an issue when it comes to that, but we'll keep you all informed.
Well, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the project award. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, Railroad Crossing Relocation Project Update. Well, I would just like to say, I think it's been frustrating, to say the least, that we have had this in the queue for so long, and yet we're kind of where we are now. And where we are now is that YDOT is not going to do their part of the project this year, and nor is obviously the UP Railroad does not want to do their part of the project. And there's some issues with their language in the contract, I guess, was where this started. But I think when it really came down to it, YDOT would like to move for budgetary reasons, move on to another project for the year. So I don't know what else you have to add.
But with that said, YDOT has offered to ensure that if they would actually prefer that we move forward with our road project, to include everything leading up to the UP right-of-way on the north side of the tracks. And they will ensure that one of their engineers is on site to make sure that all of our markings are correct and that everything is going in to match up directly with their plans. So
Are we guaranteed that the railroad and then we're gonna have that project next year? If we do all the work up to the north side of the track and they decided, well, we ain't doing it, we're out of it.
Sure.
So we spent all that money out there and
I
we
don't,
can't do nothing.
in my opinion, I don't think there's any guarantee of that, for sure. One of the problems with, as discussed, with delaying the project, I think, is that we got a pretty solid bid. I would be afraid that if we rebid the project under, well, let's wait and see, and we have to, well, we've awarded the bid, first of all. I'm not sure how exactly that works, but if there was a way we could delay it, I don't think the bid pricing would be anywhere close to the same as it is today.
Right.
My
In the
opinion.
same token, it would never be a project wasted because it does take us directly to the intersection that will lead into the north property.
Yeah,
So-
just,
And
it's
it'll rework
unfortunate.
the intersection at Beach
Cause I know
also,
the
which is in
railroad,
terrible condition.
the railroad wanted to close that Main Street crossing down for the last 25 years, and they have not. They always come up with some excuse. And that's what I'm afraid of. Even if we go out there and put our stuff in, they might be 5 years down the road before they come back.
I think to Kim's point, though, is, to me, it also seems like a road to nowhere today,
Yeah,
maybe even at the end of the summer. But, you know, we have every intentions of building north off that intersection regardless of whether the crossing's there, so. Yeah, it's not ideal, for sure.
So is their plan still to close Main Street crossing
Once they relocate.
once they get
Correct.
relocated?
Yes, that's actually a condition of the project even happening at all, is that the unsafe crossing be closed. And again, I think it was just, you know, trying to work through some contract language and, not seeing that, you know, once you get the lawyers involved. Anyway, it doesn't make sense to delay other projects that could be funded by YDOT this year while they wait for this contract negotiation to be finalized. Since our construction window is so small and.
Any other thoughts about it, concerns? Okay, hearing none, moving on to visitor comments. Is there anybody who has anything? Chance?
How's it going?
Good.
Just stopping in. I didn't have a chance to get and meet up with everybody before we signed the contract for law enforcement with the sheriff's office. But sorry, I was out of town, but I'm here now, and just seeing if anybody had any questions or if there's any points of clarification, anything we could answer, anything at all.
I don't really, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, I think, unless there's some nuance that none of us caught, but it seemed fairly straightforward.
For the,
My-
for the public's benefit, we should probably.
So
specify.
we're going to enter into, assuming the approval of the county commissioners, we're going to enter into a contract for up to 40 hours a week of assistance from the Laramie County Sheriff's Office. And it'd be some much needed help for our situation right now. So we would love to be fully staffed, but that's not really happening in a manner in which we can kind of allow our guys some more time off and some things like that. So we appreciate it. And my only concern is, I mean, I know you're gonna do the best by us. I guess as long as you're here, I would ask that we're gonna have some pretty solid communication about the officers that are here.
So yeah, I think that.
I mean, the contract
Yep.
talks about it fairly vaguely, and that's probably the way it had to be, but, you know.
I think it's pretty specific in that it references the Pine Bluffs Police Department's policy as to what notifications would be. So everything that, like when I was the chief of police, and Tom, I think it was actually Tom's policy, so things that were important enough for the chief to be notified, that they would continue to be notified of all the crimes that, it's pretty inclusive as far as almost every crime and anything that could have some kind of political ramifications. So anything that, you know, maybe a complaint or, you know, upsetting a citizen, somebody would get notified of that. So, yeah, I think communication will be pretty good. The folks that come out here will be our rural division. They're based on some of the folks you might have seen out in Burns or out west, just depending on where you're driving around. They kind of specialize in that, in our rural areas, and so they have a different approach than maybe the deputies that you would see in headquarters area. So they're more used to the slower kind of pace and things of that nature. So yeah, I think it would be pretty good. Good step is to making sure that you have coverage out here, especially in the evenings, and then just helping out as much as we can. So
Great.
excellent. All right.
Any questions?
Mayor, just one comment. When Chance and I were working on that, I had some of the same concerns that you did, and that's really why I called. Okay. The thing about it is, since it's plugged into the policy, that's a fluid kind of document, and, if need be, we run into some gap in the system that needs to be plugged, it's not that difficult to do by amending that policy.
Great.
Absolutely. Yeah, any amendments in the future that the town would like, we're open for that. So however best we can serve. So
Great.
thank you.
Thank you, Chance.
Thank you.
Any other visitor comments? Moving on to department reports.
Got nothing?
Have nothing.
Have nothing.
I'm clean.
Kim?
Just, it's project season, as you can tell. We're in full gear up at the rear park playground that's going in.
It looks great so far, by the way.
Great, yep. So the sidewalks, we anticipate that the topsoil will come in next week, and after following that will be the landscaper that comes in to put in the sprinkler system and the sod, and so it won't be long until we have a finished playground up there. We're getting ready to open the pool. They'll start the draining process later this week into next week. The roads projects are underway. Our stormwater master plan study is being wrapped up this month, so we should see a final product in June of that master plan. And we are continuing to engineer the infrastructure for the north property.
Great. Any questions for Kim? Hearing none, meetings and announcements. Just pointing out, I think 2 people here thought they were off the hook, but we have no way other than to have a second meeting this month for
That's
budgetary
correct.
reasons, right?
We will have a meeting on Wednesday, the 24th at 4:30. That will be for our second budget reading,
What time?
4:30. Does 4:30 work for everyone?
Should you?
Okay.
So any type of budget workshop, you would prefer occur before or after that?
Either one. And it's not really, for those of you that have been through the budget process, it's probably not as important as for, again, our newly elected officials, or if you have a specific area that you would like to get in the weeds on a little bit, we can definitely do that.
I'll just talk with you after to meet with you.
Sure.
Okay. Yes, we can individually schedule, and if you could
Yes, absolutely.
mold them together to where you don't have to go through it 5 times or whatever, 6.
Yeah.
But whatever, I guess it is what it is.
Awesome.
On to the next item.
Move to go into executive session.
Second.
Moved and seconded to go into executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?